Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Sony's CES presentation on the RX0 camera right over here. In digital imaging, we've launched products designed to inspire your creativity, improve your photography, and help you capture picture-perfect moments. One of the digital imaging products that we're excited about allows you to shoot freely, capturing the atmosphere, timing, and subject from a uniquely designed perspective. Incorporating the same type of 1-inch image sensor used in our acclaimed RX100 series cameras in an ultra-compact, waterproof, and robust form factor, the RX0 allows you to take stunning shots in any conditions. And when the RX0 is combined with our optional accessory camera control box, you can connect up to 100 RX0 units together. Taking advantage of its compact, lightweight form and completely symmetrical lens position, multiple cameras can be configured together with accurate synchronization and connected either with or without wires. With these capabilities, you can fully unleash your imagination to create unique content like bullet time images, VR, and much more. And of course, the RX0's video quality blends in seamlessly with other Sony cameras, making the RX0 another vital part of your Sony filmmaking toolkit. Let's take a look. By the way, feel free to come in closer. I mean, we've got some really great films to show you, so by all means, don't be shy. Come on in over here. For the RX0's launch, Sony solicited proposals from talented filmmakers who could really take advantage of the RX0's infinite creative possibilities. 10 projects were selected, and we're fortunate to have 4 of their creators with us here today. We'll watch excerpts from their films and speak with them about what they did with the RX0. After this, you're going to want to see more, so remember this website, alphauniverse.com. There you can see their full films, behind-the-scenes footage, and interviews, along with other films from a host of Sony users. Once again, that's alphauniverse.com. All right, so let's bring out our filmmakers. Everybody, please give them a warm welcome. Woo! Thanks so much for being with us here today, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. All right, so with us here today, from your left to right, we have Phillip Edsel, Brett Conti, Dylan Schwartz, and Andy Toe. So let's start with Phillip. Phillip Edsel is an award-winning commercial, fashion, and fitness photographer and director whose work revolves around the concept of potential energy and movement. You can see his work at edselphoto.com. That's EDSEL photo.com. And let's see a bit of his film, Parallax. Let me grab my little clicker. Those are some beautiful images there you've got there, Phillip.
Thanks.
So now you had mentioned that the versatility of the RX0 was really important to you. So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, sure. So the goal of Parallax was really to kind of put the RX0 through its paces. I really kind of wanted to use the camera in ways that were different and kind of non-traditional, which basically meant using it in any and every way I could think of. You'll see kind of in the behind the scenes video that we used the camera handheld. We had it stabilized on a gimbal shooting 4K. We had it underwater in the ocean in its underwater housing.
Very cool.
We even had it, we had 8 RX0s lined up on a little bullet time rig that we made to shoot mobile bullet time video, which is really cool. And one of the scenes, actually, the choreography called for the dancers to do aerial flips where they face each other. And every time, I swear, they got like 5 or 6 inches apart. Like they only missed each other by like 5 or 6 inches. It was like kind of terrifying.
That actually is kind of terrifying.
Yeah, it was terrifying. But I wanted to kind of recreate that experience for the viewer. And so one of the things that we did was we put the RX0 in the dancer's hand, and when they jumped, kind of reached out and got that slow motion first person perspective of that jump, and you see the camera or from the camera you see the dancer kind of right in their face as they're flipping. And so just uses like that and the versatility of the camera really kind of helped create this sort of frenetic energy of Parallax.
Excellent, very cool. And you had mentioned that you had actually had the concept of Parallax beforehand, but you hadn't made it yet. And so why now did you get to finally make this this film?
So I kind of had a similar or a concept, just kind of like the birth of this idea, and then it just kind of put it on the back burner. And then when this opportunity came up to create with the RX0, I thought of all the possibilities that I'd have to create just sort of wild angles and movement with the portability of this camera. And kind of one of the things that I have been thinking about as I've shot with the RX0 is if I were to use this brand new, technically innovative camera in a way that you could use a camera 5, 10, or 15 years ago, then I wouldn't really be kind of pushing the art forward or pushing the medium forward and doing justice to the technology. So that kind of helped really the concept evolve and kind of help the creativity of the piece overall.
Nice, nice. And I remember you had also said something about how the camera itself inspired some of your shots.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. So, on any project, you have your shot list, and then we're just kind of sitting around being like, well, what would happen if we just like shoved the camera in this corner? And the dancer was like, oh yeah, and I could just do a wall flip off of that wall. And we're like, all right, cool. So it's cool that we had talent that could do these amazing movements and technology in this camera that could capture that movement. So
that's really cool. In fact, we earlier had Glenn Gaynor on, head of physical production at Sony Pictures Screen Gems, and he just talked about how the RX90 is so easy, just like you said, just put it in a corner and shoot. He just said, oh, let's put it on the bookshelf on this movie set when we shoot Proud Mary, and they got some terrific shots with something as simple as this.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's move on to Brett Conti. Brett Conti is a filmmaker, content creator, adrenaline junkie, and YouTuber who's known for vlogging about tech, travel, and extreme sports. You can see some of his work at youtube.com/Brett Conti. That's youtube.com/BRETTCONTI. And let's see some of his film, Live Your Vision.
When you were a kid, did you ever have a vision? For as long as I can remember, I've always had this dream that, well, it's quite simple actually. I go on this adventure where I just grab a friend, a bag, a camera, and go.
That's really fun. I don't think monkey cam is a standard technical term in the industry, but it looks like it may become one soon.
Yeah, the monkey really loved the RX0. It's funny. I have even in the behind the scenes the monkey holding the camera as if he's a filmmaker. So the RX0 is good for
That's
monkey
awesome.
vloggers.
So now you had mentioned that the durability of the RX0 was key for your adventure film. Can you tell us, well, we got to see some glimpses of it, but
Yeah.
can you tell us how you really pushed it through its paces for durability?
Yeah, when I was learning about the RX0 and they were telling me that it's shockproof and how durable it is, I was like, all right, let's take this thing to Thailand, to Southeast Asia, and really put it to the test. So as you can see, I even put it underneath my skateboard going 20 miles per hour, holding onto the back of a tuk-tuk, survived that, put it on my head. Also did a mud bath with an elephant. I put it on my drone, as you can see right here. Even it survived a motorcycle crash. I was going about like 30 miles per hour and it fell off and still was perfectly fine. I attached it to a soccer ball, punted it up in the air as high as I could. Still good then, so I did not have any problems with the RX0. So it's a phenomenal camera that it can survive all of that.
That's amazing. Tell us more about the monkeys. What exactly were they doing? What did they think of? What did they think of this, of the Sony RX0, or the monkey cam, as we'll call it?
Yeah, so I knew that I wanted to have the ending clip look like the monkey stealing the camera. So I was thinking of ways how I could do that. So got a little mount, attached some rope to it, and luckily I know monkey grip, very strong, but yeah, I gave it to them. My friend holding me back just in case, but they were actually like very gentle with it. At first they thought it was food, so I actually have clips of the monkeys putting their teeth on it. You could see down their throats, so I feel like I'm a monkey dentist now. But yeah, they loved the camera. They were like kind of confused at first, but they were actually holding it as they're vlogging, which was pretty funny.
That's great. They're taking after you then.
Yeah, right?
Can you tell me this? The underwater shots that you had, was there anything? What did you do with the RX0 with your underwater shots?
Yeah, so what I loved about it is how you don't need casing for it. So when I'm swimming with the fish, I'm actually on a boat and then have someone push me into the water. So it's nice that you can use it normally, and then someone pushes you into the Gulf of Thailand, you're still good. So and it shoots incredible underwater.
And there's the monkey cam right there,
Yeah,
and he's
going
munching
to be on the
it
stage
right there.
at next year's CES.
And this was all in Thailand, is that right?
This was all filmed in Thailand. Yeah,
Where's the
covered whole country.
Where's the next place you're going to take your RX0?
Next place? I don't know. Maybe India.
India.
I think that's the next place.
Very nice. Very nice. Excellent. Thank you very much, Brett.
Yeah.
And we're going to move on to Dylan Schwartz. Dylan is a photographer, director, and media innovator, and he's also an award-winning advertising creative director and founder of KISS Creative Studios. You can see more at kiss.com. That's KISSD.com. So let's look at an excerpt from A Complete Portrait. Those are beautiful. Okay, tell us, what did the RX0 allow you to do that you couldn't do with other cameras?
Yeah, sure. So I'm really inspired by innovation, and anytime a new camera comes out, I'm really interested to try to figure out what's unique about this camera and what can this camera do that maybe we couldn't do yesterday without it. So I thought for the RX0, it's really the intersection of size and quality. And something I'd wanted to do for a long time is try a bullet time shoot, similar to what we're doing in the corner over there. And I thought that, in the past, bullet time shoots to do it in high quality, required DSLRs and lots of DSLRs, and just the nature, they're so big, and it creates this really sort of intimidating shooting environment. But once you're able to shrink it down to this size, we had 15 cameras, which you can see up there right now, and it was about maybe this big. They're all right next to each other. And so what that allowed us to do is create sort of this intimate, space where the dancers could really improvise and they felt comfortable. And it also allowed us to move around nimbly and change and have multiple setups all in a matter of a few hours. So I think what this camera does is it allows you to do things like bullet time, like other multi-camera things, but much easier, much quicker, and way more intimate.
Excellent. And Sony has recently introduced their RX0 accessory camera control setup that was not available to you at the time that you created this film.
Yeah.
So can you tell us, if that had been released when you were doing this film, how would that have influenced your film?
Sure. Yeah, so I used, which you can probably see up there, flash triggers, which is actually another option if you want to trigger all these at the same time. But now the control box is out, I'd actually love to try this again and do it on a larger scale even, more cameras. And I think it would enable us, I think, to be more precise in how we're shooting. And I think just make the whole workflow a lot smoother. So I'd love to actually try it again now that the controller box is available.
And where did you find the dancers?
Sure. So the dancers, they're all part of the Jacob Jonas company. It's a dance company in Los Angeles. All really talented dancers, and they collaborate with photographers a lot.
Have you worked with them before, or is this your first time?
I have worked with them before, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, I hope you get to do more stuff with the RX0 and those dancers. Those
Thank
are
you.
some amazing shots. And we're moving on to Andy To. Andy To is a photographer, filmmaker, and social media influencer, especially in the areas of travel, landscape, and commercial. He's from East Oakland, and he takes tremendous pride in his storytelling. You can see more of his work at andyto.net. That's ANDYTO.net. And let's look at an excerpt from his film, Rebirth, Puerto Rico.
Today marks 2 months since Hurricane Maria hit, and millions of Americans there are still desperate for basic necessities like electricity and clean drinking water.
That's powerful. Andy, you had used the word discreet when describing how the RX0 helped you tell the story of these hurricane survivors. Can you elaborate on that?
The RX0 gave me the opportunity to be discreet and incognito, especially during sensitive times of pretty much being hit by a hurricane, like full on. So if you can imagine the people, especially with us coming in as the media and having that sort of reputation to exploit things, I wanted to use the RX0 in a very discreet way to capture emotion in a more authentic way. It really allowed me to get into tight places, such as like my intro titles. I actually stuck the RX0 like in a little like corner of a brick like in the ground, and it had the cars roll over it. And then there were times where we would go over to people's houses to sort of like get to know them and understand like what they were going through. And
that gentleman that's just a beautiful shot of that gentleman. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and it'll be hard to speak to them if he had. I can only imagine having like a huge camera or having like even a full-on DSLR. But when you come in with the RX0, especially with its form factor, it really gave me the opportunity to kind of put the camera away and allow for more emotional connections just by speaking with them and really understanding them without the camera sort of being a distraction. And I think once I was able to do that, it really allowed me to be more comfortable behind the camera. Because for me as a filmmaker, coming into someone's home right after they've been sort of hit emotionally, physically, and like mentally, it's one of the hardest. My hardest job is to make it authentic and to make it real. And what I sort of appreciated about the RX0 is that it gave me that opportunity. And there were times where I could like rig it to the drone. There were times where I rigged it to any stabilizer or any type of like camera operating equipment that I brought. And we were working with like a really small team where we were working on the go. It was a running gun. It was like running gun situation. And if you could imagine, like there were sometimes shots where there were there were workers on the side of the road, and you probably have like 30 seconds to pull out your camera. And there would be times where we'd see something like on the road and we'd try to clean it up just to sort of help out and contribute every opportunity that we had. So the camera really allowed me to really capture shots with more emotional connections. And I think being able to do that for a country that sort of needed it, and for us at Sony to sort of shed a positive light on something that's real, that's happening now, that sort of gave that project light for myself. And just to be able to help people in need is definitely my inspiration for filmmaking. Is if I could contribute to the world in any way and to spread a positive message, then I'll be more than happy to go and do it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Andy. Really appreciate that. Yeah. So thank you very much, everybody. Remember, alphauniverse.com is where you can see their films in their entirety, along with behind-the-scenes footage and interviews, along with films from a host of other Sony filmmakers. And please check out the RX0 as well as the bullet time and VR rigs that we have in our booth. And I want to remind you that wherever you are and whatever's going on, a Sony camera puts precision, style, and convenience in your hands to capture the moment in your own special way. And let's give our talented filmmakers a great big round of applause. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Have a great show, everybody. We'll be back here at 2 o'clock. Thank you very much. We'll be back here at 3 o'clock with the presentation on Sony Mobile. And have a great show, everybody. Thank you very much.